So, as the music plays, we invite you to just relax, close your eyes, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Namo
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word that means essentially spiritual community. Literally, it translates as community of truth. So we're talking about a group of two or more people on the path of awakening and transformation and oneness with all that is, coming together to share their journeys, to share their energy, their space, their difficulties with one another, to support each other. It's an absolutely essential part of the spiritual journey, so we're so glad you're here. More and more spontaneous spiritual communities are springing up all over the world. And I hope that there's one near you where you can meet with people in person and lay hands on each other to share blessing. We share in these satsangs online as well as in person here at Flowering Arts Center, the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a direct transmission of divine presence, awakened awareness, and grace that catalyzes awakening in the receiver. It melts blocks, it smooths the journey. It brings healing on many levels as well as awakening. And we're so happy to be able to share it with you. You're soaking in it right now, so if you like this presence and this field we're sharing, just invite the divine to flow it through you to everyone who joins us tonight or ever watches this video at any time in the future. The Flowering Heart blessing is spirit, and spirit is unbounded by time or distance. So whenever someone watches this recording, they'll feel the same presence, the same uplifting energy that we're sharing here tonight. We're living in a time where it is so essential that the world shift from competition, conflict, and war to cooperation, harmony, and peace. For that to happen, the collective consciousness, the heart of humanity needs to flower, awaken, and shift out of competition into cooperation, heartfelt cooperation. That's happening now, one person at a time as we awaken. But as each of us is awakening at deeper and deeper levels, that grace of our awakening is rippling out into the collective consciousness. Sooner or later, we're going to hit that point where the teeter-totter begins to shift the other way into love and oneness. And that's what we're about, as are so many other groups and communities. Flowering Heart Satsang is informal. There's no membership. People participate in our various offerings who have other spiritual teachers and teaching, spiritual backgrounds. What we share in common is the experience of awakening and transformation and the flowering of our hearts. So glad you're here. I have put up, if you're watching on Facebook Live, it's right on the profile page. If you're watching on Vimeo, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you need to go to our website to get information on the upcoming November 8th and 9th Quantum, or Diamond Heart Quantum Liberation Retreat, which is, we've done several before. Each one is a little different, but what they have in common is that we tap into quantum reality, where it is possible to make a dramatic, instantaneous shift into that reality where you are already awakened and God realized in divine union. And we hold a strong intention for that to be shared by each person who goes through the process. We're limiting it to about 12 people in person because we want to be able to work intensely with you. And so we're not doing it online this one, sorry. But if you can make it to Clearwater, Florida, November 8th and 9th, we would love to have you join us. And I think you would find it to be tremendously transforming. Anything else?
You are intending on coming and let us know. Please let us know because it is filling up. So.
And there is limited space, but we would love for you to be in one of those spaces. So we like to open these satsangs up to questions and answers, insights about the spiritual journey. Preferably, you would ask a question about something that you're puzzling over yourself or something that you're experiencing in your own journey. It could be something happening in meditation or not happening in meditation or prayer. It helps everyone, even though our journeys are unique, they are. Your journey will not be exactly like anyone else's, so don't even think about trying to follow step by step the exact spiritual pattern laid out by an awakened being. But yours will be parallel. And it's the same conflicts, the same struggles that we encounter along the way, we all encounter. So when you ask a question about something you're puzzling over, you'd like more light, more insight, it helps all of us. And while you're thinking about what you might ask that would contribute to our discussion tonight, I'm going to share another one of these little articles from inspiringquotes.com, where a group of authors writes brief, timely articles, a paragraph or two, and then shares a list of quotes from influential people of insight throughout history that shed light on that topic. Tonight, what we're going to be looking at is 10 quotes to help you find joy in everyday moments. And this one was put together by our friend, Paula Bennett. When I say friend at a distance, we have not met, actually, except in spirit. Paula is a writer based in Brooklyn, New York. She writes a fortnightly newsletter that treasures the mundane, called Small Histories. You can find her on Instagram at Paula Bennett. Paula's P-A-O-L-A, Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T. And thank you, Paula. We appreciate all of you who've shared a number of her articles before. So, here we go, and this was, wow. Nah, well, she didn't write it that long ago. It says 1970, I don't believe it. So here's what Paula says about finding joy in everyday moments. As human beings, we're drawn to routine. Predictable itineraries for our daily lives. Routines and habits can help us organize and prioritize our tasks and responsibilities. But they also offer comfort and stability, serving as anchors in a world that keeps changing. I've noticed that. When we sink too far into routine, however, we may struggle to find the things that make life unique and fulfilling. Authentic joy, creative inspiration, or motivation toward our goals, for example. These things are not just nice, but necessary. In a 2021 survey, I knew this wasn't written in 1970, in a 2021 survey, more than 80% of respondents defined inspiration as crucial to life, more important than even sleep or intimacy. We might think that these moments of vision or delight are extraordinary, occurring sparingly or only under certain circumstances. But in reality, inspiration is available to us in every moment, even, or perhaps especially, in the mundane ones. If we pay attention and are willing to see goodness in small instances, as well as big occasions, we might find more inspiration in the day-to-day than we expect. To that end, we've gathered quotes from musicians, writers, and other luminaries on the extraordinary joy of ordinary moments. Start small. You never know what you'll find. Here we go. Exquisite beauty is often hidden in life's fragile, fleeting moments. John Mark Green, poet. Watching a perfect goal, the rustling movement of light through leaves, a phrase of music from the window of a passing car. Life offers up these moments of joy despite everything. Sally Rooney. Sometimes the most happy people in life are the ones with nothing. We can't lose sight of the little things in life that should make us the happiest. Ryan Cabrera, musician. There's always a sunrise and always a sunset. And it's up to you to choose to be there for it. Put yourself in the way of beauty. Cheryl Strait. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. Mary Oliver, poet. I still get wildly enthusiastic about little things. I play with leaves. I skip down the street and run against the wind. Leo Buscaglia, writer. Steal from anywhere that resonates with inspiration or fuels your imagination. Devour old films, new films, music, books, paintings, photographs, poems, dreams, random conversations, architecture, bridges, street signs, trees, clouds, bodies of water, light and shadows. Jim Jarmusch, director. If people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I'll bet they'd live a lot differently. Bill Watterson, cartoonist. Today's goal. Remember putting on glasses for the first time, when suddenly the trees had individual leaves. The moon had defined edges. Try to see through that clear lens everything as it is. Look around you and marvel. Maggie Smith, poet, evidently one who wore glasses. Wherever you look, there are inspirations. Books, literature, paintings, landscapes, everything. Just living is an inspiration. Gavin Rossdale, musician. Nice, huh?
Yeah.
That one about seeing the light through the leaves reminds me of Suzanne's dance with our granddaughter. She's giving her care 4 days a week, and they go out and, what do you want to explain?
We would just take walks, and I walked by our air conditioners clicking on a million times, but we were walking and it caught her attention because we've got a palm tree above it, and the leaves were dancing when the air conditioner came on, and the sunlight was hitting it. It looked like glitter, just shining in the sky. We would stand there and just stare at it for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. She was a baby then, but fascinated by the little things. So taking walks with her, I was able to slip into that space of being an infant again, and how wondrous the whole world is. It's a very special time. It was a good reminder, so now I still look at the world in a different way. I'm very easily amused.
I like that one about if people sat outside every night and looked at the stars, I'll bet they'd live differently. We were down at the beach watching the sunset tonight. It got dark and almost everyone had left but a couple of our friends, and we're sitting there, and suddenly, off over the Gulf of Mexico, was this glow. It was dim, but it was strange. It wasn't an airplane, it was this glow. And then it got bright, still this glow. And then this cylindrical thing shot off the back end of the light, and it was the SpaceX Starship that was fired from the southern tip of Texas tonight, going halfway around the world into the Indian Ocean, and it passed right over us, and we could see it separate from the booster and keep on going, and it was clearly something very special. And I've seen satellites and I've seen liftoffs, but I never saw anything like that. And that's potentially the rocket that may carry people to Mars sooner than later. So just keep your eyes open. There's just inspiration and wonder everywhere. Well, I'm waiting for a question that we can address. Ask the divine for inspiration and clarity. You don't ask? Well, James, the brother of Jesus, in his epistle said, "You have not because you ask not." It's just that simple. Christ himself said, "Ask and you will receive. Seek and you'll find. knock, and the door will be open for you. And then, in case we didn't get it, he said, everyone who seeks finds. Everyone who asks receives. Everyone who knocks, the door will be open for them. But you gotta knock. I was considering sharing this other thing tonight, and we'll see. I'll give it a couple minutes and see how it feels. But if we don't do it, if you email me, I'll send you the link. This is a little, an article that just grabbed my attention earlier today, entitled, "What Happens to Us After We Die?" According to 10 different religions. That's really fascinating, actually. And it discusses the view of the after-death state in Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, the Sikh religion, which is where the Kundalini yoga movement came from. The Jain path, which is very interesting. Baha'i, the Baha'i faith. All of these 10 religions have different views of death. The Shinto religion, the original shamanic-based, basically, religion of Japan, before Zen Buddhism. The Taoist path. And what the Taoist tradition.
Judaism there too.
Did I miss Judaism?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Oh, man. Where was it that I missed it?
Towards the beginning.
Well, I guess I missed that. There's more after this, though. Let's see. No? Well, there was earlier. Okay, and Judaism as well. So Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, I think I didn't mention, the Jain tradition, and Taoism, which is a very different view than certainly the Middle Eastern religions. So it's fascinating, and it's a question we've all asked, what happens when we die? And it's very, I'm sure you haven't heard all these different viewpoints, so email me and I'll be glad to send it to you. Okay, no questions. What shall we do?
I don't know. Do you think of anything to talk about?
The 10 viewpoints on death is what I can do it, but there won't be time for any more questions if I do that. Well, y'all, I guess you just want to sit and groove in the energy tonight, It's not that hard to come. I know you've got questions rattling around inside. We all do. Oh, so ask one of yours, Michael. Well, I just did. What happens after you die? I prefer to answer your questions. But I guess that ain't going to happen. Let me refresh the page, see if I missed something. Nope. Well, okay then. What happens to us after we die, according to 10 different religions? This article was written by Aja Brooks. And I found it to be just fascinating. So let's start at the beginning. Death is one of the biggest mysteries, leaving us with questions about what happens next. Throughout history, religions have offered explanations and comfort about the afterlife to their followers. These beliefs shape how people live their lives today, influencing their values, choices, and how they face mortality. So, first of all, Christianity. Heaven or hell, two destinations. Christians believe our eternal fate depends on our relationship with Jesus. After death, souls face judgment where faith and actions are evaluated. Those who accept Jesus as Savior receive eternal life in heaven, a paradise where believers live in God's presence without pain or suffering. Those who reject salvation face hell, a place of separation from God. Many denominations, especially Catholicism, also teach about purgatory, a temporary state where souls undergo purification before entering heaven. The concept of resurrection is central too, with Christians anticipating glorified bodies in the final resurrection. As a mystical Christian myself, I would have to say there are different viewpoints about after death. But still, Christianity is known for the hell realm and the heaven realm. What might surprise you before I go on is Tibetan Buddhism also has heaven and hell, and several of them. And so does the Hindu faith. So it's not as two-dimensional as it's presented here. There's certainly metaphysical and mystical Christians who have a much more diverse point of view toward the possibilities after death than just judgment and reward or punishment. Okay. Paradise Gardens, the Islamic afterlife journey. Muslims view death as merely a doorway to the next life, not the end. When someone dies, they enter barzakh, a transitional state until Judgment Day arrives. On the Day of Judgment, Allah weighs each person's deeds. The righteous enter Jannah, paradise. Magnificent gardens with flowing rivers, abundant food, and eternal peace. Those who live sinfully face Jahannam, hell, where punishment matches their earthly transgressions. Family reunions are a cherished aspect of Islamic paradise. The Quran describes loved ones reuniting in Jannah, creating a comforting vision for believers facing grief. Olam Haba, Judaism's world to come. Judaism focuses more on living righteously now than speculating about what follows. Traditional Jewish teaching emphasizes Olam Haba, the world to come. But interpretations vary widely among different Jewish movements. Some believe in bodily resurrection when the Messiah comes, while others envision a purely spiritual afterlife. The concept of Gehinnom exists as a purification place, similar to purgatory, where most souls spend up to 12 months before ascending to Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. Rather than eternal damnation, Judaism generally teaches that nearly all souls eventually find peace. This compassionate view reflects Judaism's emphasis on God's mercy over punishment. Samsara's wheel, Hinduism's cycle of rebirth. Reincarnation forms the cornerstone of Hindu afterlife beliefs. When the body dies, the eternal soul, Atman, continues its journey based on karma, the spiritual consequences of one's actions. After death, many souls enter temporary heavens or hells to experience the fruits of good or bad karma before being reborn. The cycle continues through countless lifetimes as the soul inhabits different bodies, human, animal, or even divine, depending on previous actions. Ultimate liberation, moksha, comes when a soul achieves perfect understanding and breaks free from desire, merging with Brahman, universal consciousness. This release from rebirth represents Hinduism's highest spiritual achievement. Nirvana, peace. Buddhism's escape from suffering. For Buddhists, what happens after death depends on how we lived. The consciousness continues its journey through the cycle of rebirth, samsara, based on karma accumulated during countless lifetimes. Upon dying, consciousness enters a transitional state called bardo in Tibetan Buddhism. During this period, lasting up to 49 days, the mind experiences various visions before taking rebirth in one of 6 realms: gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, or hell beings. The ultimate goal isn't heaven, but nirvana, complete liberation from suffering and the cycle of rebirth, achieved through enlightenment. Nirvana represents perfect peace beyond human conceptualization. Sikhs, number 6, merging with the divine light, Sikhism's reunion. Sikhs view death as a reunion with Waheguru, God, not something to fear. The soul, believed to be a spark of divine light, ultimately seeks to merge back with its source. Reincarnation plays a central role in Sikh beliefs. Souls cycle through various life forms based on karma until achieving liberation, mukti. Good actions and devotion to God help the soul progress toward this ultimate goal. Achieving mukti means escaping the cycle of birth and death to merge with Waheguru, like a drop returning to the ocean. Sikhs focus on remembering God, serving others, and living honestly to prepare for this divine reunion rather than seeking heavenly rewards. Yeah, nice. Liberation through purity, Jainism's path to moksha, a religion less known and understood than Hinduism or Buddhism of India. The Jain path is very powerful and very ancient. Jainism offers one of the most detailed maps of afterlife destinations. The soul, jiva, journeys through rebirths based on karma accumulated through actions, words, and thoughts. After death, souls travel to one of numerous heavenly or hellish realms before returning to earthly existence. The cosmos contains multiple levels, heavens above, earth in the middle, and hells below, each housing souls at different stages of spiritual evolution. Freedom comes through moksha, complete liberation achieved by removing all karmic particles through strict nonviolence, truthfulness, and detachment. Liberated souls rise to the universe's summit, Siddha Shila, where they dwell in perfect knowledge and bliss forever, free from the suffering of rebirth. Continuing spiritual growth, Baha'i Faith's eternal journey. The Baha'i Faith describes death as merely shedding our physical body while our soul continues evolving. Death is compared to a bird being freed from its cage, a joyful release rather than an ending. After physical death, the soul enters spiritual realms beyond time and space. These realms contain infinite worlds where souls continue developing their spiritual qualities and drawing closer to God. Progress depends on how we lived our earthly life and our spiritual development. Relationships continue beyond death, with souls recognizing and communicating with loved ones. The afterlife isn't static, but dynamic. Souls assist each other and those still on earth while continuously growing in understanding of divine mysteries. Number 9, ancestor veneration. Shinto's continuing family bonds. Japan's native Shinto tradition offers a uniquely communal view of the afterlife. When someone dies, their spirit, kami, joins the ancestral family spirits who watch over descendants. The newly deceased undergo a period of purification before being welcomed into the ancestral collective. Annual festivals like Oban bring living and dead family members together, with the deceased temporarily returning to visit their families. Rather than judgment or salvation, Shinto focuses on maintaining harmony between the worlds. Proper funeral rites and regular offerings ensure ancestors remain benevolent protectors rather than troubled spirits. This creates a continuous family bond stretching across generations and between realms. And then number 10, immortality through harmony. Taoism's path to eternal life. Taoism offers multiple afterlife possibilities depending on one's spiritual attainment. The highest achievement is becoming an immortal. Not through preserving the physical body, but by cultivating internal energy qi and aligning with the Tao. Those who haven't achieved immortality face judgment in the courts of the underworld. 10 courts evaluate the deceased's actions before determining their fate. Reincarnation, punishment, or service in the celestial bureaucracy that manages cosmic affairs. Many Taoists practice meditation, alchemy, and energy cultivation to transform their spiritual bodies into vessels that survive physical death. The goal isn't heaven, but transcendence, living in harmony with natural forces, and ultimately becoming one with the eternal Tao. And I would have to say that even within what we read from these traditions, there's still variations within Taoism. It said they have diverse afterlife possibilities. And that's true of, I thought that I wasn't satisfied with the description of Jewish beliefs of the afterlife. One thing I recently read is that a majority of Jews polled in the United States believe in afterlife, but not all. Some believe just in here and now and living in righteousness with God. And then there are other spiritual paths that we didn't even touch on, like the Native American traditions and some of the other shamanic traditions throughout the world that have their own unique description of the afterlife, and yet when you study enough of them, you see certain parallels, don't you? Yeah, you do. One thing I like about all of them, outside of the Christian one, and I am a mystical Christian, is that the hell realms are not seen as permanent destinations, but as like aspects of purgatory. That after death, not all souls are ready for moksha, for merging with the infinite light. And they need to go through additional learning and experience rooted in their karma. And so they're very much the Tibetan Buddhists and the Hindus and Jains do believe in and experience hell realms, but not as a permanent destination, as a place of learning and purification, and higher heavenly realms where souls learn to keep moving toward the light. Fascinating stuff. So I thought I'd read it since nobody, the only way I was going to read it tonight is if nobody came up with a question. And I guess there are no questions.
Okay. Here we go.
So go ahead and close your eyes. Invoke the presence in your heart. reality of the divine presence is within you. It's been said, the outer world is merely a reflection of the inner world. To the infinity of space, of the transcendent realms, the divine itself, all dwell within you. In India, it's spoken of as Atma, or Atma, the supreme source and consciousness of all that is. The Atma, the divine, it invites you and me, us, to open the door and invoke the presence and invite it to flood our being. This presence that dwells in you is pure light, pure love, all-knowing, all-wise, and it loves you unconditionally. God yearns to draw you into the loving embrace of the divine. Ultimately, all suffering is rooted in feelings of separation, division, distance from God, all illusions of the mind that have been further reinforced and fostered by many great religious teachings that weren't so great. There's no distance between you and the divine. The Bible says, in God you live and have your being. There's no separation at all. So invite the divine presence to flood you with light and grace. The rest is up to God. When we consent, when we open the door, when we invite the divine to transform us, to flood us, to awaken us, the divine takes over that journey. And the gravity of divine love will draw you into the center. It will flood your spirit with enlightenment. Your soul, the realm of mind and emotions, it will flood with healing and clearing. The divine inspiration give you divinely inspired thoughts and feelings and plans to solve the programming that has controlled our lives. It will flood our physical bodies with healing. God is the great healer, who wishes to heal all of your diseases and to heal your relationships and to shine through your life into the outer world in a way that touches and catalyzes others in their journey. The divine knows exactly what you need tonight, so just relax, open your heart, and drink in, breathe in the grace that's pouring out to you tonight, and receive the grace of transformation and awakening. so beloved. Receive and accept the love of your divine. Sitting in a circle together, a blessing circle. Keeping your eyes closed, lift up your hands with your palms open as we invite the divine to pour the flowering heart blessing through every one of us to the others in the circle. As it flows through you, it transforms you. Truly, it is more blessed to give even than to receive. Just allow the divine to pour the blessing through you. You don't need to know what's happening. Just give the divine permission, invitation. As it's flowing through you to the others seated with us in the circle, it's flowing back to each of us through all the others. In your own way, offer gratitude in your heart for what you're receiving tonight, even though you may not feel it or know what it is. Accept the gift of grace, the true medicine, and offer thanksgiving and gratitude. Rest your hands in your lap somewhere and open your eyes when you're ready. Begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing continuously at least one of our eyes. You can switch eyes, but keep gazing at least one of our eyes as the light meditation unfolds. In this meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of divine grace, unconditional love, and light for you. It's pouring through our entire being to you, especially through our eyes, the windows of the soul. As you keep looking, that's all you need to do. The light streams out through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts, causing light of awakening, the fires of divine love to burn brighter and brighter within you. Just Close your eyes now. Meditate a few more minutes with us as the grace settles within. Keep meditating as long as it feels good to you. And or find a place nearby to lie down in Shavasana. That's to lie on your back comfortably with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward. And just let yourself dissolve with gratitude in the presence. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine within us beholds the divine within you, and we bow to you. Namaste.